What's up, Bills Mafia? I got the players whose stock went up and the players whose stock went down following the Week 3 thrashing of the Washington Commanders. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is VZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, I got the players whose stock went up and whose stock went down following the absolute thrashing of the Washington Commanders this past Sunday, 37-3. My goodness, that was a beating. So let's get right to it. And always thank you to Bills Wire for creating this article. All right, so let's see who's first up on that list. We got some pop-ups here. Good old pop-ups. Let's skip those ads. All right, here we go. Stock up. Whoa, wait a minute. I said stock up, and I spoke too soon, ladies and gentlemen. Stock down, Josh Allen. Bills Wire. Now, mind you, guys, I didn't read this before. I started this, believe it or not. Today's the first time that I didn't proofread this Bills Wire article, and my goodness gracious, this is I'm a little surprised here by Bills Wire. Boy, oh boy, I don't agree, but let's see what they got to say. It's ironic to have Allen listed as a stock down in a game in which Buffalo won by 34 points. This stock down is less of a statement that Allen had a bad game and more of acknowledging that Allen showed more of his mistake-prone sided that he needed to. Yes, Allen did score 2 touchdowns and completed 62.5% of his passes, but he did throw an unnecessary interception and would have thrown another if Washington was able to hold on to the football. In the end, Allen is commended for playing good enough to win, but his flaws are still ever present. Nah, man, nah. See, I disagree with that. I don't know if I'd put him in the stock up, stock down, because I don't know if his stock went up following that game. It certainly did not go down. And I think a lot of you guys are going to agree with me on that. I just don't agree. And normally I agree with Bills Wire, but I thought Josh Allen had a very good game. I didn't think it was excellent, but I thought once again, he took what the defense gave him most of the game. Yes, he had the one bad throw to Gabe Davis, but that was more, once again, that was kind of like a punt. It was a 3rd and 20, I believe. And it was a 50-50 ball on a way for Gabe Davis, who, by the way, did not make an effort on that ball. He should have at least tried to, break the pass up or go for the catch. But I'm not going to totally blame Gabe on that, but he could have made more of an effort play. But overall, I thought Josh Allen did very well. He avoided the defensive line when they finally did get through. And by the way, the offensive line did great, and I'm sure they're going to touch on that. But when the defensive line finally did break through and get pressure on Josh Allen, once again, Josh Allen showed that he can escape the pocket and get some positive yards. They failed to mention that in this stock down on him, that he picked up some significant yards on the ground running when the pocket collapsed, and those were key first downs that kept the chains moving for the Buffalo Bills. So ultimately, I thought he did a good job. Was it great? No, but I thought he did good, and I don't think you could put him in the stock down. That's just my opinion. All right, let's see what else they got, because that was a surprise, guys. Stock up, Terrell Bernard, linebacker. Of course, come on. What else can be said about Bernard? After earning a starting linebacker spot out of training camp, Bernard has done nothing but balled out. Against Washington, he had 7 tackles, 2 for losses, deflected a pass, and intercepted a pass, and recovered a fumble. The only thing he didn't do was work in the ticket booth before the game. That's funny. Yeah, man. Listen, I have to tell you guys. So far, I have been wrong about Terrell Bernard. I was very concerned going into the season with this middle linebacker um, position, and I still don't like the depth of the middle linebacker position. God forbid if Bernard goes down, Dotson clearly is not the answer, and neither is AJ Klein. Now, I was a little bit more comfortable when we signed Kirksey, but unfortunately he retired. But yeah, listen, I have to tip my cap to Terrell Bernard because my main concern with Bernard was I didn't see much of him the previous season, obviously, because we had Edmonds, and he missed most of training camp and did not play any preseason games. So there was not a lot to go by with Bernard. But that goes to show you how bad Dotson was and Klein that McDermott, took the chance on Bernard, who had really no off-season really work. I mean, he had a little, but nothing major like Dotson and Klein, who had a lot of work, put a lot of work in. So you got to credit McDermott for trusting, Bernard to be the starting middle linebacker week one, for having the faith in him. And he saw something that I think a lot of us didn't see. Now, a lot of you guys did see Bernard as being that, but I don't. You'd be lying to yourself if you said Bernard, would have these type of, back-to-back weeks, because I don't think anybody saw this coming. He has really excelled, and I hope it continues. I really do. And listen, this is going to build his confidence up. Games like this is going to continue to build his confidence, and that kid's going to think he could do anything on the field, and I love it. That's what you need, man. Confidence is huge, and I think I think the game's also starting to slow down for him. He's starting to, just see the field better. Pass coverage has been great. His tackling has gotten way better. And I just like what I see from him. And listen, it helps having Matt Milano beside you, right? So yeah, stock up, man. Terrell Bernard. All right, let's see. Stock up. James Cook. Yeah, you got to give it to him. Cook had a second consecutive game of running the football well. He did not score a touchdown in this one like he did against the Raiders in week 2, but that does not diminish what he did on the ground against a tough Commanders defense. Even when it was obvious that Cook would be getting the football due to Allen's being out of the game, due to the game being a blowout, Cook was still ripping off big gains. And listen, I got to go back to what I said last week after last week's game against the Raiders. And I think they did make a mistake in this game, in the running game. I really, truly believe they have to get Murray and Harris going early in the game to break down that defensive line, whoever we're facing. And that will really help Cook. Because if you notice these last 2 games, Cook has really, most of his better carries come late in the game, late in the second quarter, going into the third quarter, and he starts to really play well in third, fourth quarter. And that's because the defensive line and the defense in general is wore down by that point. And Cook really gets going by that point. But if you put Harris and Murray in earlier to really wear down that defensive line, I think Cook can get going a little bit earlier as well. And they just didn't do that in week 3. They barely used Murray. They used him at the end. They barely used Harris. I'm talking about carries. And I just feel like if Dorsey dials them in earlier on, that can get Cook going a little bit earlier on. Instead of getting really late in the game, going late in the game, he could start because I see Cook going more into the late second quarter, third quarter, where Cook starts to shine. But I think Cook can start shining early in the second, as that defensive line starts to break down. And I like to see Cook and Murray on the field at the same time. I like to see Gilliam as a fullback in front of Cook at times, and they just haven't done that yet. So, but at the end of the day, James Cook is starting to prove that he could be a quality RB1 in this league. And I'm really liking what I see. I think his patience, he's having a lot of patience. I still wish he would bulk up a little bit. to shed off a little bit better tackles in between the tackles, but bouncing to the outside, finding holes, being patient is the key. And he is a smooth runner, man. He's not he's not a juker. He doesn't juke a lot like Devin Singletary, but he's just smooth in the way he runs. And man, he has some wheels on him, man. I'm waiting for that breakout run where he's taking it to the house because it's coming. It definitely is coming. All right. Next up, stock up. I cannot believe this, and I agree. AJ Epenesa, and I good for him. Epenesa did a little bit of everything on Sunday against the Commanders. He was part of an unstoppable Buffalo defensive unit, but he also showed the massive potential he has if he could find his rhythm. The interception that he returned for a 32-yard touchdown was a showcase of everything that makes Epenesa one of the more intriguing players in the NFL. Listen, I agree as well. We drafted the guy in the second round for a reason. We saw the potential. He just never took that big step. Now, I thought last year he took a step, but it wasn't a big step. But it was still promising to see that he took a step forward, right? Now, this season, I thought he started off a little slow. I'm not going to lie. But this weekend's game against Commanders, he did a lot of good to great things. And I thought he pre-pressured the quarterback. I thought he made some good run stops, and putting your hands up, swatting quarterbacks throws. There's something that I kept saying the Buffalo Bills need to start doing more. Put your damn hands up, deflect passes, because you never know what's going to happen when those footballs are deflected. And he sure did that. He put his hands up. And by the way, that was the second one because he did one last week and he almost got an interception. But this one, it was perfect. Put his hands up and it just pretty much fell right in, right? He kind of just jumped. He tapped it and it kind of just fell into his chest and he made a really nice catch and then wound up just bulldozing Howell into the end zone. So yeah, credit to AJ Epenesa for that. He is on a contract year, remember. So he's trying to earn a contract, whether it's with the Buffalo Bills or an NFL team out there in the offseason. So, yeah, usually players that are on contract years tend to ball out a little bit more. So let's hope we see more of what we saw in week 3 moving forward because we're going to need it. We got a tough matchup this weekend against the Dolphins. We need those type of effort plays by our defense. All right, next up. Stock up, wide receiver Stefon Diggs. Of course, he'll probably always make this list, guys. Just saying. It's understandable to note that saying that Diggs showed why he is one of the best wide receivers in the league is something that can be said any given week. However, after the performance that he had against Washington, it has to be said again because he was incredible and has been since the start of the season, since the season started. His day, 8 catches on 12 targets for 111 yards, could have been even bigger if this game was close at all. I agree. Stefon Diggs, man, to me, he's the best route runner in the NFL. Hands down, best route runner in the NFL. Dude is so smooth, man. He is. When they say he's open every play, he is. He is open every play. It's just obviously it's easier said than done when you're the quarterback when you got pressure in your face. But Stefon Diggs is open probably every single play. But man, listen, when he came here in 2020, the connection he had with Josh right away, you don't see that a lot, and it's carried, man. They just they're always on the same page, and I love it. And that's the kind of guy you want on the team. And I know he had a rough off season with everything, but I told you guys the one thing about Stefon Diggs, whether you agree with what he did, how he handled things in the off season, was when it's time to play football, that dude brings his lunchbox and hard hat. He doesn't complain. He gets on the field. He does his thing. He handles his business. And I credit him for that. I credit him for when it's training camp time, that dude is a worker. He busts his ass, and it shows on game days, plain and simple. So that I can never knock Stefon Diggs Yeah, man, we need him, and we lose a Stefon Diggs, and that really hurts his offense. But yeah, Stefon Diggs, he's always going to be stock up. All right, stock down. Wide receiver Gabe Davis, man, I don't know if I agree with this either, but let's see what they have to say. As mentioned above in the blurb about Allen, it's hard to criticize anyone in a 34-point win. However, like with Allen, Davis' section is more about having his future performances being better than he did against Washington. He did score a 35-yard touchdown, and while that was incredibly impressive, he did nothing else for the rest of the game, which could be concerning to see from the wide receiver 2 that Buffalo will need. Yeah, Gabe Davis, I don't know if it's stock down. He had a drop pass that he could have made. It wasn't an easy catch, but it was definitely a catchable ball. I didn't like the effort that he gave on the Allen interception. I thought he could have at least put some effort in. That was a 50-50 ball at that point. Though I'm not totally killing him on that either. It wasn't the greatest throw. But yeah, he needs to work on his routes better. He needs to find a way to get open better. Because listen, we've seen Gabe Davis ball out. We know what Gabe Davis is capable of doing. And, it's just sometimes Gabe Davis gets lost out there. I don't know. That's something that Gabe Davis needs to figure out. But I don't know if I'd say stock down, just like Allen. I would say I wouldn't put stock up or stock down here. I would just say nothing, right? He just even keel, because he did have an incredible touchdown pass. And Allen wasn't really spreading the ball around a lot. If you look at the overall targets on the rest of the receivers, very minimal, very minimal. So, you can't always blame that on Gabe Davis because of the amount of targets he had. But, definitely need to catch, you catch balls thrown your way. Can't drop those on, especially because if you remember that same drive, if he catches that, then that interception doesn't happen. I think it was the very following play or the play after. That never happens, right? The chains get moved. But since he dropped it, then it put us in a bad. I think we had a penalty. Maybe that's why it went back 3rd and 20. But yeah, either way, you got to do better than that. But I don't think stock down. I think that's unfair, just like the Josh Allen. All right, stock up. Leonard Floyd, man, I've been telling y'all about Leonard Floyd, man. I've been trying to tell everybody about Leonard Floyd, and nobody wants to talk about it, right? Floyd has been doing a good job of holding down the fort within the defensive line unit while Von Miller is out. Against Washington, Floyd showed why he has been an important part of defensive line units throughout his career, and he has 2 sacks. He had 2 sacks and was a key part in keeping massive pressure on Washington's quarterback, Sam Howell. I told you guys. What did I tell you guys? When we did our early predictions, I think it was like over unders or something like that. I believe we did that on Floyd. I told you guys, I think Floyd would be over 9 sacks. I think he would be right around where he had like about 10, 9.5, 10. He's been averaging 9 sacks over the last 3 seasons. I think he's only one of 4 players right now that done that. And the guy's just been playing at a high level, even as he gets older. And I told you guys, that was a key signing for this Buffalo Bills defensive line, because when I told you guys, Von Miller wasn't coming back week 1. So getting a Leonard Floyd, a veteran edge rusher who still has game in him, still has a lot of juice in that tank, man. He's a game changer. And I told you guys this, and that was a massive signing that nobody really talked about. Very, very low key. Maybe some Bills Mafia, maybe some Buffalo Bills other podcast channels out there. But it was, to me, a very under radar, quiet signing that nobody really talks about. And they should, because this guy, I think he's already at, I want to say 3.5 sacks for this season. I wish I could. Let me pull it up. Let's pull up Floyd's, because I don't want to be wrong here. Let's see here. Right now he's at 3.5 sacks. Guys, he's on pace to do what he's been doing. Think about it. He's probably on pace to go more. We got lucky, super lucky. If I'm Brandon Bean, as this season goes on, I am really considering doing an extension for Leonard Floyd. And I'm not talking about super long-term guys, so don't kill me on that because you're gonna say, oh, guy's older, blah, blah. He still has game left and his right. He still has a lot of juice left. I would consider giving him an extension for at least another couple seasons. You know, give him a 2-year deal. Maybe you know, and you know, there's a way out on the second year, but you know, total 3 years this year and give him a 2 more year extension. I'm telling you guys, we need a player like that. Um, I don't think AJ is going to be re-signed here, and having Leonard Floyd there, yeah, I'll take Leonard Floyd all day over Epenesa, even though there's an age difference. It's just there's also a play difference, and I just think Floyd is that dude, man. And wait till Von Miller gets back, and I think I really believe McDermott's going to dial it up a notch or two or three when Von gets back. You're going to see a very aggressive defense, and you know, guys, you're going to see Groot out there, Floyd out there, Von out there at times. It's just going to be nasty, man. So put your seatbelt on. I'm telling you right now. All right, next up. All right, next up. That's it. There is no next up. All right. That was it. So I'm going to say, I'm shocked they did not put this. I'm going to add my own. Stock up. Offensive line. Hello. Bill's Wire. What's up with that? Yeah. Stock up, man. The offensive line, the last 2 weeks, really this whole season has played very well. However, I will say the first week, I think they were still finding themselves against a very good defensive line, probably one of the best in the NFL with the Jets. And I thought they did okay. I thought they held up. I didn't think they did great, but that's a tough team to play, right? But I think they were starting to find their way, right? Starting to become a unit. And week 2 against the Raiders, against Crosby, who's one of the best, I thought they really, really played well. I thought they helped out Spencer Brown at times, which was fine. I keep telling you guys that's okay if you have to get some help, as long as it works, and it did. And then of course a lot of people are like, well, you know, the Raiders defensive line is not that great. Wait till you play the Commanders, who's first in the league in sacks and pressure rate, all that stuff. And I said, okay, let's see, you know. And wow, did they held up beautiful. Everybody did their job. And I keep telling you guys, that offensive line is like a chain, man. If one link is broken, that wheel ain't moving. And I feel like these guys are coming together now. Their confidence is getting better. Deion Dawkins is playing much better. Connor McGovern is playing so good. That was a great signing. Young player. Mitch Morse playing good. You know, Osiris Torrance, who I kept telling you guys is going to be a Pro Bowl guard in this league for many seasons. That guy is the truth. And then you got Spencer Brown. We'll see what happens in the future, what they do with Spencer Brown. Not sure if he's going to be our future tackle, but for now, I'm liking this unit. They're working well together. And one thing I'll give Brandon Bean credit for this offseason is going young on the offensive line. And I kept saying it year after year. He can't keep doing what he's doing by signing these older veteran offensive linemen for 1-year deals who are broken down. And you saw what we get every single season when he did that. You needed to go young. You needed to draft. You needed to sign young free agents, offensive linemen, even if it's just depth. And he did just that. McGovern, David Edwards, Osiris Torrance in the draft. This has worked out great. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, when Mitch Morse retires, you already see the writing on the wall, right? Ryan Bates goes in at center. When we start pulling our first unit out late in games that were up by a lot of points. You've seen it now twice. And Ryan Bates has held his own. Ryan Bates has held his own every time, actually, when his number was called. That's going to be our future center when Mitch Morse retires, which I have a feeling will be this offseason coming up. But either way, even if Mitch Morse stays one more year, finish out his contract, I still think Ryan Bates is going to be that guy. We paid him already. He's here to stay. They're grooming him for it. He will be that guy. And I'm totally okay with that. The only thing, like I said, right now, that is still the question mark will be Spencer Brown. But for now, what they're doing with Spencer Brown is perfect. They're getting some help, when he needs. And I even on his one-on-ones, I feel like he's getting better. His confidence is getting better. He's doing a much better job. And you got to also credit Cromer, who I kept telling you guys when we signed him, he's one of the best offensive line coaches out there. He just needed his guys. He needed younger guys, not the older veteran guys he had his first year that he had to work with. Now he had an offseason in 2023 where he got to actually get younger guys, pick out who he likes, draft an offensive lineman. Now you're seeing the benefits of Cromer. And also even with Spencer Brown, him working with Spencer Brown in the offseason, which he couldn't do last year because Brown was injured or he had back surgery. Also, stock up, I would say, the coaches in general, the coaching staff. I think Sean McDermott has done a phenomenal job so far through 3 weeks of juggling head coaching and defensive coordinator position, defensive play calling. I think he's done a phenomenal job. And it was one thing I was concerned about heading into the season was, will he be able to do both? It's not easy, guys. And I think Sean McDermott has done a very good job up to this point. Ken Dorsey, if you hate him or love him, I feel like he's done pretty well. Is he still making some boneheaded offensive play calls? Yes. But overall, I felt like the last 2 weeks, at least, he's called a very good, efficient game plan. He's adjusted well, and you can't ask for anything more. Now I guess you can ask for a more creative play calling. You can ask for stop being a shotgun so much, right? There's little things you can ask for, but overall, winning 37-3, limited turnovers, that is on Ken Dorsey. That's on play calling. So yeah, I will give him the credit for that, and all the other coaches as well for getting this team prepared for a tough Washington defense. And now they're going to have a lot of work to do this week because they're going against a very good Miami Dolphins offense. So one thing about Buffalo, I will say, man, we always usually, most of the time, 90% of the time, we come prepared. And, the Dolphins, if they think they're going to come to Buffalo and do what they did against the Broncos, they got another thing coming. That's not going to happen. They better respect us, because if they don't, they're going to get punched in the mouth. That's going to be interesting. So anyways, guys, listen real quick. Tonight, Monday night, moving forward, matter of fact, every Monday night, we will be going live at 9:30. Primetime Bills Talk. Why Primetime Bills Talk? Because it's on primetime, Monday Night Football. And we're competing against Monday Night Football, and who cares? We are the best Buffalo Bills YouTube channel out there, and y'all know that. I'm just joking. Anyways, guys, Bills Mafia, I love you, and as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.